Hey there, I'm John with Board Game Geek, and today we have Mike here from Rock Manor Games, and we're looking at Set a Watch. So what do we have going on here?
Well, thanks for having me. First off, guys, this is Set a Watch. It should be coming out this summer. It is a cooperative game. We sort of tried to put D&D in a box that you could play in under an hour without a dungeon master. So that was sort of the design goal of the game.
Right.
We wanted to focus on that collaborative combat that you have sort of when you're playing D&D and you're saying, cast a spell at the monster and then I'll hit him with my sword. So that's sort of the goal. We've sort of set up a game here. You always play with 4 characters. A lot of the game is learning how to mitigate your dice rolls with the character abilities. So you'll visit different locations as you go through the game. So at first we'll be facing the Lost Outpost, and we'll see as many creatures as as bright as our fire is burning. So the brighter our fire, the more creatures we'll see in the line. Okay. And a lot of the core combat is around a line puzzle, which we'll set out in a second. So the first things we would do is we would roll our dice. So I'm just going to pretend like we rolled our dice like this.
They're functionally random.
These are the numbers that we have. And then one of us has to rest in camp, because it is called Set a Watch. So one of our characters, I'll just pick... who should we pick here?
Probably the cleric.
The cleric.
Yeah.
I know you've sort of familiar with the game. So,
Just a little.
So the cleric would take a rest token, which are these nice wood etched pieces, and they have ×1 and ×2 because every character will have to rest twice. So at the beginning of the game, it's sort of easy. We can look at who rolled the worst, and we can decide who rests. But then, as the game goes on and we get closer and closer to that final round, our decisions are going to be limited.
Right.
So when the cleric rests, he will refresh a card, so he'll be fully healed, because your ability cards are also sort of your health. You have 3 hits. And then he'll use his 3 dice to take dice actions. So we have sort of a simple dice placement, worker placement type system here. Every character has their own special camp action, and the cleric's is quite good, so I'm going to use that, which is heal, and we can heal another character.
Ah, great.
Let's get Animal Sentry back. So we'll heal the Beastmaster who's on watch. So now we have someone on watch who's at full health. And then chopping wood's always good. Every time you place a dice to chop wood, you get 2 wood. And with this last 3, I'm going to scout ahead at the monster deck, which lets us look at the top 2 monster cards. This is a good example because 1 we definitely don't want early.
Right.
So we can look at our monsters. I don't know the best way to orient this with the camera.
Just maybe right here in the middle.
Yeah. So obviously, if this creature is the first one out, he's going to spawn another monster, and he's also quite durable. So my decision is going to be to put the eagle back on top with my scout and put the fell beast on the bottom of the deck.
Okay.
So now that the camper is done, we are now the rest of us are going to fight on watch, and we're going to have 8 monsters trying to come into camp here. I'll do a little dynamic. What's that, 6? 2 more?
Yep. We just scoot them right up here.
So here is our line, and our fire is currently at 2, so we're always going to be able to see 2 characters. We do reveal the creatures in order, though, because stuff can happen and we can lose wood. But we know this is an eagle, so we know we're okay. The next one's a bear. So we're in great shape, and we have the Beastmaster. Again, understanding your character's ability is really important. We have 3 ranged characters, which means we have 3 characters that can hit in first and second position, and only the rogue can only hit in first position as a melee character. Right. First thing I would probably do, if we were playing for real, is I would use the Beastmaster's tracking ability, which lets you tame a beast in first position, and we happen to have a beast in first position. So the Beastmaster is actually now, this eagle is now landing on her arm, and she can command it to attack future creatures.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, so we'll use that. We have a Trent. We don't have anything that is really going to react and get in first position that we need to worried about, so we'll probably just start killing some stuff.
Right.
There are some abilities we have out that are probably important to use early. So, for example, I can use this 3. So the way you use your dice are 2 ways. I can use these dice. I could use this 5 to just a direct attack the bear, dealing 5 damage and killing it. Right. So that's called a direct attack. Very simple. Spend the dice to meet or exceed the health of the monster. The other way you can use dice is by activating abilities. So I could spend any value dice on an ability to activate it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to activate the long shot ability, which lets me pick any of these unrevealed cards. Hopefully I can pick like a dragon or something.
Yeah, I think this is the really bad one right here.
And automatically kill it. Goblins, not too bad.
That was not a good one.
So we kill the goblins and they go to the graveyard and the line moves forward. Now, I could use this ability again, but to use an ability again, I have to exhaust it. If I'm not assigning a dice to it, I have to exhaust it, which is also sort of like taking damage.
Right.
Sometimes it is important to do that to make sure you don't let monsters into your camp. Any monsters we can't defeat with the dice we have in front of us will enter the horde, making the final round even harder.
Okay. How does that exactly work?
So there are 8 locations, and at the end of the game, no one rests. It's the final epic battle. Everyone fights, and you play a final location, which are much harder in difficulty in general and have more monsters.
Right.
And then you add any monsters that have entered the horde onto the end of that line.
I see.
For
So
the final
you'll
battle.
see those exact monsters again.
Yeah, so you can actually learn what's in the horde. So at the beginning of the game, you actually put one of the evil and hallowed boss monsters that the acolytes are trying to resurrect.
Right.
You know, because the whole sort of theme is we've been on our D&D adventure and we've killed all the bad guys. We go back to rest for camp and all of a sudden we figure out that these evil acolytes are trying to bring back all the big monsters we already killed.
It's pretty annoying, really.
Yeah. So we actually know that the top of this is an unhallowed right now.
Yeah.
And there are ways to vanquish creatures from the horde as you play the game. So while there is some luck with dice rolls, it's actually not that randomly based because you have so much control over the strategy of what abilities and how you're assigning dice and how you're reacting to the line.
Great, great. So you mentioned earlier, when is this going to be hitting retail for people?
So this is our digital sample. We should be getting our production sample next month. So we're anticipating, we're shooting for Origins, but it'll definitely be available by Gen Con. So
Great.
sometime
So in a few months?
sometime between June and August, depending on the boat and the factory, et cetera. But yeah, we're on track. I mean, everything is in the pipeline.
Wonderful.
As they say.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to talk about this one?
I'd just like to mention, you can notice, one of the things we didn't talk about is you can notice that there are abilities set off to the side by each character. So as you play the game, you'll probably learn a certain combination of cards that you like or a combination of characters you like. And we don't let you just pick exactly what you want to optimize and maximize your play in the game. You're randomly assigned 3 abilities, and one ability starts off injured, like you don't have it.
Right.
It's exhausted at the beginning of the game. So even if you love the Beastmaster Wizard combo with polymorph and then polymorphing a dragon into an eagle that you then tame, you can't always do that because sometimes polymorphs off to the side.
Right.
And what you can do is you can visit camp and you can use the equip action to swap out abilities and customize your character as you play the game.
But it means you're not using that action.
That's right. That's one less action to scope out future monsters or chop wood or check the map.
Great, great. Well, I guess the last thing really to wrap this up is that we didn't show the box just yet.
Oh yeah, we should
because the box is right here. We've been playing with it.
Yeah.
Right. So thank you for showing us Set a Watch, Mike, and thanks for watching.